Global environmental issues. Global environmental issues. Together with the widening realization of the problem of poverty, there has been an increasing awareness of the existence of a second global crisis, that of environmental degradation. Concerns about the state of the environment have deep historical roots, but those concerns came to prominence during the 1960s following the publication, in 1962, of a seminal book by Rachel Carson, Silent Spring and the Emergence of the Modern Environmentalist Movement in Some Countries, Carson 1962. Since then, and particularly since the 1980s, considerable scientific efforts have been made to investigate and to document the state of the global environment and the nature of global environmental change. Those efforts have been prompted by widespread concerns that the pace and extent of development in many parts of the world have far outstripped the capacity of natural ecosystems to absorb the impacts of human activities. There are three major environmental issues listed by the UN. These include threats to habitats and organisms on land and underwater, as well as resource depletion. 1. Habitat and biodiversity loss. Habitat destruction renders entire habitats functionally unable to support the species present. Biodiversity is reduced in this process when existing organisms in the habitat are displaced or destroyed. Despite the Asian elephant being endangered, they are still treated unethically in some situations. In an ideal world, all animals would be able to live in their natural habitats. However, we understand that some animal facilities play an important role in conservation. This is why GVI supports an ethical elephant sanctuary in Thailand where these animals can be protected in their forest habitat. And forests are key to producing the air we breathe, yet these are being depleted at a rate of 26 million hectares every year. Extinctions are happening at what scientists estimate to be about 1,000 times the normal pace. Not only are we losing flora and fauna, we are also damaging our ecosystems and throwing them out of balance, the effects of which we cannot anticipate due to the intricate and complex nature of these systems. Many organizations have been working to protect local ecosystems for years. This includes the UN, which has set up specific objectives under UN SDG 15, Life on Land. You can join us at GVI as we further these objectives, through volunteering on one of our wildlife conservation programs. On each of these programs, you'll gather data, which will help to inform local wildlife park or sanctuary managers. Data will also be used to present policies to other organizations and governments in order to preserve habitats around the world. Volunteer to help protect jaguars or sea turtles in Costa Rica, elephants in Thailand, or cheetahs in South Africa. 2. Ocean conservation. Most of our planet is covered in water. We depend on the oceans to maintain our rainwater systems, and many populations rely on it for food and income. Oceans also absorb carbon dioxide and produce more than half of the oxygen we breathe. But despite its importance, the ocean is under threat. Overfishing and unsustainable fishing practices are causing the endangerment and extinction of many marine species, something that has recently been highlighted in the Netflix documentary Seaspiracy. Global warming has caused an increase in coral bleaching, where reefs lose vital nutrients and can no longer sustain the ecosystems that depend on them. Commercial fishing practices dominate the market and inhibit the economic progress of local fishers, who cannot compete with these boats. And with the effectiveness of modern-day fishing techniques comes the problem of bycatch, where marine species such as dolphins and turtles are caught in commercial fishing nets and are later discarded. Pollutants like boat fuel, pesticides, fertilizer, sewage, and plastics cause dead zone spots where no organism can live to form in the ocean. The UN is dealing with this problem through objectives set under UN SDG 14, Life Below Water. GVI runs marine and coastal conservation programs in Fiji, Seychelles, Mexico, and Thailand. At each of these locations, we collect data concerning the type and number of species in the area. We also arrange and manage regular beach and seabed cleanups. The oceans are among the biggest resources for life on Earth, but they're also our biggest dumping grounds. That kind of paradox could give anyone an identity crisis. We seem to think we can take all the goodies out, put all our garbage in, and the oceans will happily tick away indefinitely. However, while it's true the oceans can provide us with some amazing eco-solutions like alternative energy, our activities place undue stress on these vast bodies of water. Here are the 7 biggest problems, plus some light at the end of the tunnel. 3. Water scarcity. As with food, there is actually enough fresh water for each person currently living on the planet. However, access to that water is not always possible for everyone. Issues such as poor infrastructure, displacement, and conflict mean that many people often have to use unsafe water sources. This is a clear health and sanitation risk. About 2 billion people still use a source that is contaminated with human waste, and about the same amount don't have access to adequate toilet facilities. The UN has set the goal of ensuring equal access to water and sanitation for all. This is represented by UN SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation. On all our community development projects across the world, we work with local partners to complete infrastructure development projects to increase the community's access to clean water. In both South Africa and Phil we have previously supported the community on projects to construct rainwater harvesting systems.